So, who can we believe in now? And not your government or the politicians, not the media or the internet. You can't even believe in your school's football team, it seems like. Gator fans want to run Billy Napier out of town after losing to an unranked 18-point underdog USF. Good or bad? Well, let's get your thoughts tonight. Coming up in just a minute, Shane Matthews joins the program. He had a hot show this morning on Pot Up with Matthews. Lots of people angry. I get it. But perhaps cooler heads may prevail, and he may be fired. I don't know. Maybe he should. We'll debate that tonight. Where do you stand? Are you done with Billy Napier? Do you think he should still have a chance? There are many stories about coaches being given up on and things happening, but it was ugly, it was painful, and I get it. It's a question of if we listed down the reasons why he should be fired and the reasons why he shouldn't be fired and make a logical decision, what would it look like? What do you think about it? Come join the program tonight. Tell us your thoughts. This is going to be a difficult time, maybe a good time. You never know. Stand by. The Buddy Martin Show is next.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome. Let's just go ahead and get this out there right now because this is what we're going to talk about at some point. Billy Napier is under contract until January 31st, 2029. Florida will owe 85% of Napier's contract. You can do the math. Should have decided to terminate Billy. Buyout drops to $13 million the following season, like 2027. Buyout drops to $6.1 million following the 2027 season. Buyout drops to $0 after 2028. So Napier will receive roughly $10.2 million within 30 days after the contract's termination. He would then receive $2.5 million every July the 15th for the next 4 years. Would also be owed 85% of the next 2 months' salary, the amount value of roughly $1.2 million. This does not include bonuses, retirement, et cetera, et cetera. That's what we're talking about. So when you start talking about firing a coach, there's a price to be paid in my way. So good evening to Shane Matthews. He had talked about this on his show this morning. Shane, I guess is something we're going to be talking about a lot in the coming weeks.
You know what I take away from that, buddy, is I am very disappointed that I played 14 years and I would have not played and become a graduate assistant right out of college and work my way into coaching.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's certainly a lot of money there. And well, I heard your show today, and I get it. Gator fans are all bent out of shape, and they should be. And it's a painful loss to lose that game like that. Now, what to do next, that's another story. I did a column about it Sunday morning. I had an eerie feeling about this game right before the game. And it was kind of the perfect storm of things to happen, Shane. When you start laying at the feet of this guy and that guy and that guy, the obvious ones are, obviously poor decision-making, mistakes, penalties, and Billy went down a litany of those. I don't know. I guess I'm disappointed in the fact that things are the same as they were before. And the one criticism I have of Billy, and by the way, I don't think he's a terrible coach. I think he's made some bad choices and maybe does some good jobs in certain areas. But the one thing about it is that it doesn't seem to be changing. Everything is static. He didn't seem to want to change anything, Shane. That's not good.
No, I mean it's disappointing what happened the other day. I think if Florida were to beat LSU, people would be back on the bandwagon, right?
Yep.
I totally understand where people are coming from. I thought that we lost that game for multiple reasons. I'd like to give South Florida a lot of credit.
Sure.
But offensively, whether it's play calling, whether it's execution, I'm one who's in favor of some execution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the bad play call or the good play call, it's still your job to go execute it. Defensively, we never pressured their quarterback. I still have serious concerns about the defense. And then special teams, we had some blunders there that hurt. So I just mentioned all three phases. And anytime you do that, you probably don't have a chance to win the game. Plus, we had a bunch of penalties. So it was just a bad day and a terrible loss. But you got to move forward. You go try to beat LSU and see what happens the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think we could pick any one of those things you just talked about, and we could tear it apart and blame it and whatever. And it's all the above. There were many reasons why you can't figure out why a team that didn't have a single penalty suddenly had how many 11, and the ticky-tacky fouls especially that they had. I know this didn't necessarily lose the game. It played a big role in it. I was really disappointed in what happened on the bet spitting incident. That's unbecoming of a player. And to me, that is a dismissal. But you just kick a guy off the team. Spurrier would kick him off the team probably right now. I know it's a different time. I get the fact that, you'd say, well, he didn't really mean to do it. Yeah, okay, look. It's like saying, well, I had a gun in my hand and went off. I didn't know the safety was there. You don't get to have those mea culpas. And I really didn't like that at all. I thought that was a bad all the way around. And it contributed to the loss. A couple other things. I didn't know until this morning that DJ had a check down on the pass, which turned out to be a poor decision to throw the ball on first down because you're trying to kill the clock. And then the other thing that bothered me was Lagway, that Jaden Ball was just rocking that first quarter. Would have ripped 57 yards, and think, okay, this is his night, and they don't come back to him, Shane. So I don't know. It's almost like to me, and I'm not. I defer to you. I always tell people, Shane Matthews told me he's okay with the play calling. I'm okay with the play calling.
Well,
I know you're not. Play calling.
I wouldn't say I'm okay with it. I mean, it's not
tonight. I mean, just in general.
Yeah, I mean, because I think what people, it's so easy, buddy. And people all over the internet do it, right? They want to get the game tape and point out certain plays. I can't tell you, to this day, I have not played football at the University of Florida since 1992. That's a long time. What is that, 33 years? Yeah. I still have issues that I go back and I say, man, I wish I would have done this in that game, or I wish I would have done that. Coaches and players are the same way. If it would be so much easier if we could sit there and rewind the play 12 times going, well, look what they're in here. We should do this. We should do that. Right? Because it's after the fact. We had some good plays called, some good designs. We've had some bad plays called. That happens. I would just come from the I can't even think of a word to use here. I come from, I don't care what's called, do your job and go execute it. Mm-hmm. Does that mean if you think the players don't know if it's a good play or bad play call because we don't even know what the defense is going to be. But I know what fans are talking about. I'm not defending Billy. This goes for any football coach in America. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to second guess play calling. And I mean, I sit here and watch the NFL yesterday and today, and I mean, I could sit here and tell you that they just went for on 4th and 3 for the Bears. I guarantee you they wish they wouldn't have gone for it because they didn't convert it. So I don't have the answer. I just try to be someone. I mean, I don't know, buddy. I think this team is. I still had concerns all summer long. I was very excited about it because of the talent. But everybody in the country has talent now, especially in the SEC. Our talent is no better than anybody else's. But I had my concerns the way we won the LSU and the Ole Miss game last year. I still do to this day. I can sit down and watch tape with anybody that wants to watch it. And we were very, very fortunate to win those games.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and you have that in every game to some degree. You think you're fortunate.
There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Every game you win,
yeah,
it's a handful of plays or things that happen that allow you to win. The games you lose, it's about 5 or 6 plays that cost you the game. No doubt about it.
I've tried to show my patience on Billy's play calling. I'm an old quarterback and know just a little bit about it. I don't know nearly as much as you or he does. And I take my cues from you. But it felt like Billy had his playbook over here, and they took out the first chapter and said, let's do this. Okay, good. Move the ball good. Got it down the field. And then he said, let's do this. They took out second chapter. It was something else. That was disjointed. It didn't seem to be a rhythm to it, and you could tell the way this game is going, it's not going to go well for Florida if they don't stop kicking the field goals. You know that. If you'd been playing and you'd been out there kicking the field goals, Spurrier would have said, we got to stop.
Well, I tell you, I would have completed the easy passes. I can tell you that.
Right. You would have.
You can't get in a rhythm offensively if you don't convert and throw completions.
Right.
And that's the problem. People want to know why we run the ball up the middle. Well, when we run it up the middle and Jaden Ball busts one for 15 yards, it's a great play call. Yeah. When the right tackle or right guard let the 3 technique come clean and he gets hit in the backfield for a -2, may not be a bad play call. It was bad execution. But I totally get what people are talking about. I totally understand that. But again, execution is the key word of the night.
I agree. That was definitely that was it for sure. And again, getting back to the issue, before the game, I was sitting up there in the press box, went down to the end, sat where it's quiet, and listened to Shane Matthews on pro. And Dooley and I were sitting there, and before the game, and Scott Strickland came walking over and say hi, and he had kind of a nervous twitch, and he said, "What am I missing here?" Meaning South Florida. I didn't think they were missing anything. I said Florida is a 3 touchdown, 18-point favorite. There's a reason they're an 18-point favorite. They're a better football team. I think you're going to be fine. Well, guess what? We weren't. It was white knuckle time for him. The guy who just got $1 million raise for keeping Billy and then getting the guy to win the national championship basketball. And so it turned out to be the perfect storm. Things just didn't work out all the way around. And it was it looked like it got worse. And I even wrote down in my notes, I have a copy of it somewhere, during the game at third quarter thinking, is Florida going to lose this game by a field goal? And, of course, they didn't, but they did. I mean, the field goal was what put them in the position they were in.
Well, I was concerned all summer about South Florida because I thought it was a unique game because you knew that their style of play could cause problems, and it was before the LSU game going into conference play. Would the players try to overlook them? But the more as the week went on and before kickoff, I saw a bunch of the guys from the 2000 championship game talking to them. And, of course, they always ask me what my thoughts are. Like, I have a crystal ball. I'm like, I'm a little concerned, but I think we dominate the football game on the O-line and the D-line.
And that didn't happen.
Not at all, because I remember going back, I guess it was on Wednesday before this game, I watched some clips of the Boise State game. Boise State was blowing their offensive line up in the backfield the whole game. We were never making tackles for loss or putting any pressure on their quarterback. So I was 100% wrong. We did not win the trenches in that game.
Yeah, now we hear L.J. McCray's got a broken foot. He's out for the season. That's not good. A lot of bad news seems like happening these days. I don't know. I mean, let's talk where we are right now. Billy's 20-20. He's 10-14 in the SEC. He's got 6. I think how many losses he got to unranked teams? I don't know, quite a few. 0 wins over Georgia. So I think the question becomes, where are we wanting this to be done? And, you hear fire Billy, foul Billy, and I get it. I talked to a coach today, a coach with Urban, not Urban, and I asked him his opinion of the game. He said it was pitiful. And I said, what's the problem? He says, Florida is firing too many coaches. And sooner or later it gets to be known as a job that's that way. It's transient. And so now you can say, I want to fire Billy. I'm mad. But be careful what you ask for. Because, all right, who's out there? I'm sure they can hire somebody, hire Golish or whatever. But the bottom line is you just keep throwing coaches away. And it seems to be the same old all the time. And so what to do now? You got the payoff. You probably lose your quarterback if you fire Billy. What's the right thing to do?
Well, that I don't know, but with the portal, there's plenty of opportunities. I mean, I'm not just saying the quarterback position, but let's use it because everybody wants to talk about the quarterback position. But think about all the portal transfers around America in college football. You could go find players in today's world. I don't know what the answer is. My concern is who is going to be out there available if it were to happen. This is way over my pay grade. I don't know how that, the money it's a large sum. But I also talk about this all the time, buddy. If it were to happen, it better be a guaranteed Hall of Fame type coach.
Who is that person?
I don't know.
Yeah,
because that's the thing is, and I talk about this all the time and people make fun of it, but it's the facts. The Florida Gators, and take nothing away from the few Charlie Pells and the Galen Halls, those 2 or 3 years there. The 2 coaches that have gotten it done don't just fall off trees, Spurrier and Urban. I talk about it at Alabama. There's 3 at Alabama. There's 3 from Georgia. You can do it from every school, but they're Hall of Famers. There's a difference. And I don't know who that person is.
Remember this too, Shane. If you knew the whole story on the inside, I don't know it all. But they ran Urban off. They didn't want him back, actually.
Right. But Urban is still a Hall of Fame coach.
Oh, I know. And then Steve got discouraged after a while. He got discouraged and nobody seemed to care. And he won. And so he took the money and left, which he hadn't done it now. So at some point, you want to get your coach and stick with him and make your decision. You can't keep having throwaway coaches. Now, I don't know. I don't know which I'd pick first. I think there's a bit of arrogance with Billy, although that's not a word that usually fits him, because he's not, and you said this, he's not going to change. He's not going to quit calling plays. He's not giving it up because he thinks he's Nick Saban and Steve Spurrier and current play caller.
Well, let me just stop right there. I'm not contradicting anything here, but it's the middle of the season. Who in the world can call plays? And here's the thing. If we had great play callers on our staff right now, don't you think they would have been hired by another coach?
I'm with you.
Yeah, that's where and again, great play callers are just like these damn Hall of Fame coaches. It takes a certain type of thought process to call in plays and be a damn good one at it. If that was the case, everybody in America would have one.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to ask for a thumbs up or a thumbs down right now on Billy from you right now.
Well,
no, right now.
I'm thumbs up because it's the middle of the season. There's not a damn thing that can be done.
I'm with you. I hear you. I'm just saying. Now, so there must be some reasons you don't want to fire him. Can you tell me some of those reasons?
Well, I don't think firing a coach after 2 games is going to do any good. I don't think we have anybody. I mean, you can name somebody being an interim, but it's not going to be any different. Because again, if we had somebody that was this Steve Spurrier play caller or Lane Kiffin play caller or whoever, they wouldn't be an assistant on our staff right now. Somebody, Ohio State would have hired them or whoever. And maybe I'm got the bad thought process, but
no, you're right. You got it.
I've been in too many damn meetings and buildings in football my entire life. I know how it operates.
Yeah.
And again, it's just like I go back to last year. Should he have hired an offensive coordinator? Maybe, maybe not. But nobody came up with any names.
But he didn't. He kind of faked it, give us a head fake and said he was doing it. He didn't change anything. Let me just set the
well, again, I am still not real happy with our defense, buddy.
I hear you. There's several things to talk about there, but here's the thing. They're breathing down the neck. They got they're like I said in my column, people lighting the candle in the wind for them going to Baton Rouge. They could get beat by 50 points. So they go to number 3 to LSU. We know the schedule. The schedule that we thought was tough just got tougher. Then they go to Miami, number 5, right? The following week to Miami. Then they're off. Then they play Texas at home, number 7, and then they got Texas A&M 19 out there. I mean, and then you take teams like Mississippi State, which you thought you had a W on. They have a hell of a comeback and win that game. They're better. So there's just no easy out anywhere, Shane.
Nope, it is what it is. Embrace the schedule. I think it's a great schedule. We thought it was going to be a fun schedule. Everybody's kind of giving up on the season now. But look, who knows what happened in Baton Rouge? I think LSU's very, very good. I think their quarterback is outstanding. Supposedly they're better on defense. So, we'll see. But again, if you were to fire Billy Napier, I honestly, and maybe Franz knows, I don't know who I would put in charge of the team. I would assume they'd put Billy Gonzalez because he's been here longer than anybody else, but I don't know. I have no idea.
Franz Beard, up or down on Billy right now? Up or down?
Well, right now I say it's 2 games into the season. You got 10 games left.
No,
there isn't. No. Well, let me say something first, buddy. You got 10 games left. You can win. It's possible to win every one of them because there isn't a team on that schedule that Florida's incapable of beating. By the same token, there's not a team on that schedule Florida's not very capable of losing to. So you're kind of in a dilemma, and you don't fire the coach after 2 ball games.
So it's over, it's just up for you.
I'd have to say up right now.
Okay.
I
am too.
I believe that that people rush to judgment. We've had 4 football coaches. This is the 5th football coach we've had since 2011. Okay. Way too many. That's a revolving door. And if you fire this one, who are you going to get?
And that's the question. There's a lot of reasons why.
I'll tell you who I'd get if they did fire him for next year. Jimbo Fisher in a heartbeat.
No, I would never take him here.
Why not?
Well, I mean,
won a national championship. He's put 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
I wouldn't be in favor of it, but anyway, bottom line is, we haven't come up with a name really that everybody's sold on, and I think that Tim Blackburn has a question here: if Spurrier Meyer was coaching this year's team, would we have found a way to win the games, Shane, on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I was doing a show with Steve Russell today, and somebody brought up, Urban and Coach, and we both look. These are your Hall of Fame coaches comparing to these other guys we've had coaches. The difference too is I don't give a damn about the blue chip points or whatever all that stuff is called. The ratings of your players on your team.
Yeah.
My eyes tell me that the Urban teams and the 12 Steve Spurrier teams had better players than we've had in the last 10 or 15 years. And the facts that back that up is you go and look at how many guys play professionally out of all those teams. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but
well, the question was, if Spurrier or Meyer coaching, would they won the game?
Yeah, they would have won that game.
All right.
First of all, here's what I would like to say, because Spurrier's quarterbacks would have made all those easy throws because they're fundamentally sound.
Okay. Franz?
I gotta say, I was thinking about writing on a column. People wear those bracelets that say WWJD. Well, WWUD, what would Urban do? Well, Urban wouldn't be in this predicament to begin with. WWSD, what would Steve do? He wouldn't be in this predicament to start with either. You got to go back to Charlie Pell. What would Charlie Pell do? He'd be spitting nails right now and threatening people with a fate worse than death and getting results out of it. Billy Napier is a nice guy, and that might be the problem right there. Football games are won, and Shane, this is the truth. Football teams are won by a handful of Boy Scouts, and the rest are borderline psychopath.
Very true.
You played with Tony Rowell, and I remember watching Tony Rowell grab people's face mask in the huddle and say, "You better block, or you're going to deal with me." Tony Rowell, I'm sure, has become one of the nicest human beings on the planet. But when he was on the football field, he was as mean as a pit bull that hadn't eaten in a week. We don't have it. I can you name a single player we got that's a borderline psycho? I can't.
I don't know if he's a borderline psycho, but he plays like he's a psycho, and I think he's our best player on defense is Miles Graham.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about. Let me just take a quick break, and let's talk about who did play well. And I heard Billy use this phrase too much today. There's a lot of good on the tape. We know there's a lot of good on the tape, Billy. That's not the point. Didn't win the game, etc. Let me just take it for a minute. Meldon Law Monday. I want to tell folks about Meldon Law, why they're such good people. They're good Gators. They've been practicing law for a long time. They have lots of places to serve you from, including Ocala, Gainesville, Williston, Lake City, and now somewhere south down around Boca Raton, Miami, expanding all the time. They're down up to 50 lawyers. They're also very committed to the Gators. They do a lot of great things. They do projects. They sponsor programs. They do. They buy transportation for the band. Meldon Law and Jeffrey Meldon is one of the great Gators of all time. He loves his Gators, and he was very happy with the basketball championship, which you'll be reading about soon in a book by Franz Beard. So all that, thanks to Meldon Law for all they do, the only official law firm of the Florida Gators. Who played well? Shane.
I mean, I thought Miles Graham flew around, made plays the whole time on defense, but offensively, I mean, Jaden Ball, when he gets the touches, he needs 25 carries a game. I said this last year. I'm not a big guy of rotations. I want to play my best players, and I would play him until he's exhausted. But those would be my only two.
France?
I thought guys that played well. I thought Jaden Ball played well. I thought VB3 played well. I thought that punt return he had was a case of a kid saying, "Screw the fair catch. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna do what I can," and he literally jump started the team, at least for momentarily. Miles Graham played extremely well. Bryce Thornton played well. Bryce Thornton had a couple of really nice pass breakups that when we needed them.
Yeah.
And right now I'll tell you somebody else played well. Cormani McLean played well. Those are the only guys I can think of right there. Cormani McLean did play well, and I was happy to see him playing well.
Yeah. The disappointing things among them were the fact that the offensive line got whipped. And there are several plays called, and Shane, you mentioned one of them, where somehow or another the wide receiver wound up blocking the 3-tech.
I know exactly what happened on that play.
There's a blitz.
Because this is the kind of stuff that drives me insane, these Twitter people that don't know football.
Mm-hmm.
No coaching staff would ask a 175-pound guy block a 300-pounder.
No, of course not.
What happened was it was supposed to be a double team. It's a zone play to the right, or old school hitting the 4-hole, Jaden Ball or whoever the tailback was. We're doubling, I think it was the 3 technique up to the backer. Well, the right guard and I think the tackle just basically didn't touch the 3 technique. He split them both. And on the motion, I'm not sure if DJ snapped it too soon or what. I do not know that. But as soon as Trey goes in motion, passes the quarterback, boom, there's the 3 technique. We were not trying to wham him or block him with him. The O-line busted their assignment, and that's why people say it's a terrible play call. Whether we know that or not, but it was poor ass execution because Jaden Ball had no chance.
Yeah.
Because the O-line whiffed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Shane, I mean, I know fans, you complained about the officiating, and there were some bad calls. There's some bad calls from both sides, actually. But of all the ones that we saw, which was the worst, Franz? Which call?
The offensive pass interference on Hayden Hansen. He's 25 yards away from the play. The defensive back, and I've watched the replay of this. The defensive back engages him, and he pushes back. The ball has already been thrown, and the official calls him for offensive pass interference. That's one of the most egregiously bad calls I've seen. And I've seen a bunch of them. That one ranked right up there with some of the ones at the Swindle in the Swamp back in 2004.
Shane, that one I hate, and Billy's right about this. They quick snapped the ball, and the offensive linemen were still moving. They quick snapped it, and of course, the defensive backs were not caught off guard because they said the offensive line were still moving, and they get away with stuff like that sometimes. Now, look, none of these cost Florida the game. There are a lot of things that Florida did wrong, and they didn't deserve to win the game, basically. You don't ever want to get down to a point where a team can be driving the ball with a field goal to win, and they did. I don't know. Of all the things we talk about, the play calling, the penalties, et cetera, what are the most egregious 2 or 3 things, Shane, to you in this game? Offensive line play?
Yeah, like I told you, I had my doubts, or not my doubts, but I had my concerns going into the game all week. But the closer it got to game day, I'm like, I couldn't get out of my head about Boise State being in the backfield about every damn play against them. And I thought we were going to win on the line of scrimmages. And I would say that is the biggest disappointment. And I don't think we played great on the offensive line against Long Island either.
No, we did.
And so, we didn't really put a lot of pressure on Byron Brown. Now, that may have been our plan because, the key is you got to stay in your rush lanes and rush like half-ass is kind of what I like to call it. So you keep an eye on him. But I wish we would have blitzed him a little bit more because I think he's a very poor thrower of the football. And we didn't really get in his face. But O-line play really bothered me.
Anything else?
I mean, I don't think DJ played great.
Okay.
His lower body, I don't know if it's his calf or what, but his his feet they're never set when he throws. I think the only time he took a quick drop, hitched, and let it go was on the throw that Vernell dropped. And it was a good throw, good, accurate throw. But his feet were good there. A lot of the other throws, his feet were all over the place. He was falling backwards like Larry Bird shooting a jump shot on the one down on the goal line. They just got to get that cleaned up.
All right, Franz, the most egregious. Which ones bother you the most? What things?
Tony Livingston dropping a touchdown pass.
Mm-hmm.
He drops them in practice all the time, and I know that from people who know. And you can't be out there. Play guys who can catch it. He drops passes all the time in practice, and I know that from talking to several people. And they throw him the ball at the goal line. He catches that ball. Who knows? If Florida scores a touchdown early on those first couple drives, I think it's game over. But you can't just keep missing opportunities like that. We're still shuffling in 4 guards, and you need 2 that can play, and we're running 4 of them in there, and it seems to me like we can't decide if we've got 2 that can play because we're playing 4 of them. We don't have a right tackle. Bryce Lovett might be the answer at guard, but he sure isn't the answer at right tackle.
Everybody said he was going to be the answer. He's not, obviously.
Well, I say he might be the answer at right guard, but he certainly isn't certainly at right tackle. The other thing I will agree with Shane is they did not pressure Byron Brown. I understand the guy's an exceptional runner.
Well, he used short pass effectively. He kept hitting the short pass. That was one thing that they used.
But just the same, buddy, when they pressured him, he made bad throws, and they didn't pressure him enough. He had, I would dare say, he had at least 6 or 7 times back there when he's throwing, when he could have ordered a sandwich and a beer, and they could have delivered it before anything close to pressure got close to him. But when we put pressure on him, he didn't throw well.
Kevin Brockway, good evening. You agree with that?
1 sack in 2 games. It's not just about pressure. It's about getting the quarterback on the ground, creating negative plays. I mean, Billy hyped up this edge room. I'm not seeing it. I know LJ McCray, unfortunately, he breaks his leg, so he's done. But you got to affect the quarterback in that way. That kind of keyed that run at the end of last season. You got to get him on the ground. Pressuring isn't good enough in my book. And maybe not having Caleb Banks, that might be hurting a little bit. But Nussmeier's a more stationary quarterback, and that's got to be the emphasis. Part of the emphasis is to really get after him and make him uncomfortable and get him on the ground a few times.
Let's talk about more of the bulls in the china shop with elephants in a room. I'm still not satisfied about this. The whole spitting incident with Betts. Now, there's some things that to me are just egregious enough to say you sit for a while. At the very least, I would like to see Billy say he's going to suspend this guy for 3 games or whatever. I don't even know what the rule is now, Shane, on whether or not when a guy gets ejected, whether he can come back and start the next week or not. But what bothers me is you don't like things like you certainly don't like bad play calls. You don't like penalties. You don't like drop passes. You don't like missed tackles. But the one thing that is really unforgivable is conduct unbecoming a Florida Gator. And Betts certainly did that to me. He spit in that guy's face. To me, that is a firing offense, Kevin. You're laughing.
I'm laughing because this is a school that produced Aaron Hernandez. I mean, buddy, it is what it is. I mean, look, I'm telling you, heat of the moment. I don't think it's right. You know what I mean? It obviously came in an opportune time it cost, but it is football. It's a heat of a moment situation. And look, it happened before. It happened, I pointed out in my column, happened 2 years ago with obviously Jamari Lyons. And I mean, what were the repercussions? I mean, obviously he broke his foot. Now he's back. He's starting and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, if you're a talented enough player, Brendan Beck just apologized. By the way, he posted something. I don't know if you saw
that's
on Instagram and so forth and everything.
I didn't get it. And
conduct becoming a floor Gator, buddy, this is football. It happens all over the country. Okay, it's not
football enough.
Florida Gators don't have any
I know what
better
football
conduct
looks
players
like.
than anyone
Okay,
else in the country.
I know what football looks like. I've seen a few games. Okay, I'm telling
Here's
you,
what I would do.
It's reprehensible.
You know what I'd do?
What?
I'd take about 15, 20 grand out of his NIL.
Oh, that too. And the point is, if a guy walks up to that guy and they're going to kick him in the head, is that okay? I mean, there's certain things you don't do. You don't spit in a man's face. And that is not enough penalty in my mind for this guy.
So why isn't Jamari Lyons off the team?
I don't care about Jamari Lyons.
He did the same thing, buddy. He spit on somebody.
Okay.
And then he let him back on the team.
Bring
And
up 35 incidents to others. I mean, what happened in the heat of the battle, which probably cost his team the game.
Okay.
Probably cost him the game. Okay? It's a little different. And to me, Franz, it was not enough penalty.
Well, we don't know what the penalty is going to be.
You heard
I don't think he should play in this. I don't think he should play at least in this next game. However many games they decide to suspend him, that's up to But if he doesn't get at least a 1-game suspension, I'd be really disappointed in the process here. I go back to the days of Tony Lilly, and Tony Lilly used to be famous for getting personal foul calls for people coming across the middle. But you know what? He was playing aggressively, and he put the fear of God in people. When you spit in somebody's face, you don't put the fear of God in anybody. That's you've crossed a line there. It's one thing to go after people doing aggressive things, kicking somebody in the head. Buddy, we're old enough to remember Bobby Dodd having a guy getting his head kicked in by Alabama, and Bobby Dodd refused to play Alabama.
Yeah.
Bobby Dodd refused to play Alabama after that because Alabama, for one thing, Alabama didn't suspend their guy.
Yeah, I interviewed him Holt after that. I mentioned him up in SEC Media Days. He was there. Let me get Shane out of here. He's got to get ready for his show tomorrow. He's got a lot of pressure. He's got a big star on tomorrow. He's got to take care of. And so, Shane, your final thoughts on everything. You were losing your cool today with these fans. Are you going to take them out again tomorrow?
I didn't lose my cool, buddy. I never lose my cool. I just try to explain things.
No, I know.
Because, again, I get it. But I've never seen anybody call a perfect game. I've never seen a football player play a perfect game.
Yeah.
The word is execution. I don't give a damn if Buddy Martin calls a play. Go try to execute it. If a guy's open, complete it. Don't whiff on the 3 technique if we got a run play called, because then the play has no chance. Just go execute.
I love John McKay's line on that one. He was asking.
I'm all for it.
He said, I think you ought to kill them all. Execute.
Guys, before Shane goes, I covered the Redskins in Lombardi's last year as a head coach. And you know how many plays he had? You know how many pages he had in his playbook? Anybody have a guess?
Probably 3.
6.
12 pages.
Taylor, right?
And the whole key is
$1, whatever.
The whole key is what Shane just said. He said it doesn't matter how many plays you have, is you got to execute the ones you do. And if you execute the ones you do they
For
they
sure.
work.
And Shane, you're right. They didn't execute. They were just awful.
Look, I mean, I totally get what fans are upset about. I'm upset about it too, but I also sit there and see some great plays, some great designs that we don't execute. That's frustrating for me from a guy who loves X's and O's. But like the person that, we talked about it earlier that was circulating all over Twitter. I can't tell you how many people sent me that on Sunday. I can't believe Billy's coaching this and calling this play. He didn't. The damn right guard and right tackle screwed the whole damn play up.
Yeah, I want to ask this for you go. The situation with DJ checking down and go checking to the pass on first down. That was an unfortunate play. You do not stop the clock there ever. He checked it down, and Billy's comment was, well, he's got the keys to the car. He's allowed to do that. I get that. But there's got to be some kind of – what would you tell your quarterback in this situation?
Well, it's changed nowadays because he can talk. They can talk to him. I would have said, we are getting ready to hand the ball to 13 3 straight times.
There you go.
They're going to use 2 timeouts.
Yeah.
I think they had 2 timeouts at the time. We're going to make them use their timeouts. If we go 3 and out here and make them use their 2 timeouts and punt it, I am fine with that. Because, I mean, remember, it still may not have mattered because they didn't even have to convert a 3rd down on that last drive. But I would be in his ear. We are handing this ball off no matter what.
Yeah.
We're handing the ball off on 2nd down.
Right.
Hopefully we just made a 1st down. If not, we're going to hand it off probably on 3rd down, make them use all their timeouts. So.
Amen, brother. You're right on it. And that's the thing is that you cannot throw the football there.
But I would bet $1 million on this, buddy. If we would have gone handoff, and still had to punt, people would be raising hell.
Probably.
Well, we had the ball at our own 42 with 2 minutes and 52 seconds left.
How many timeouts do they have?
And,
2?
At that point in time, let's see. One. I've got them down with only one.
Okay, so you could have got it to the 2-minute warning. If they only had one, they would have used one. So on 3rd down, you run it again. If you don't make the 1st down, you run another 30-something, 40 seconds off the clock.
Well, not only that, you send your punter back there and you take a deliberate delay of game. 5 yards at that point in time don't mean anything, but 40 seconds do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not good.
I think you run on 1st and 2nd down, and if it's like a 3rd and 5 scenario, then you maybe try to throw it.
3rd and 5, you run what we ran, like DJ's favorite play, where he rides the tailback and then he rolls right, and we got somebody in the flat and somebody on the crosser. That play,
that's how it should have gone. But I think DJ thought it was a high percentage pass because it was a wide receiver screen, but he'd been misfiring, and I think that's a bigger issue and something I've been talking about offseason. What kind of quarterback were we going to see with DJ, and was he going to have a sophomore slump? And that's proven to be the
I
case.
think he's got a bad shoulder, guys. I think he's got a bad shoulder that probably needs surgery. And, I think Shane would probably agree with me. Go ahead, get the shoulder fixed now. Play Tramel Jones, take your chances, because if he waits until December to get his shoulder fixed, you got the same situation. Next year, he misses spring practice and whatever else happens.
Well, Franz, if that's the case, I mean, you get all that scoop about injuries and stuff, but if he can't make the throws, we have no chance offensively.
I don't think he trusts himself to.
I don't think you put him out there if he couldn't throw the ball. I just don't.
I think he can throw it, but I think that there's something kind of.
I don't think the ball's coming out of his hand like it did last year, and I don't think his feet are the same.
And I think that in the calf too, he's thrown a lot high, if you notice. So it feels like he's compensating for something, because a lot of quarterbacks say when you throw high and you miss high, that's the result. And I don't know, Shane, if you've even heard that in an NFL circle.
I don't really know. I mean, I always felt like I could complete every damn pass I threw. They may get intercepted or something, but accuracy was never my issue. A lot of other things were.
Yeah.
You completed a few passes to the other team as well.
But not many.
Not many.
All right, Shane. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Hey, tell Gator Nation, just like Sunday, the sun will come up tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Gainesville. Hey, by the way, as long as Kevin's here, we were all saying up or down on Billy right now. If you said fire him or keep him today, right now, what do you think? Well, Shane says in, Shane and Franz says in. What did I was about to forget? What?
I give him the rest of the month, but he's got to win one of the next two. You know, he can't go into the bye week 1 and 3. I think he's got to either beat LSU or beat Miami. That's kind of what I intimated in my story on Sunday. Is that but that's a lot of pressure to try to win one of 2 top 10 ranked teams on the road, and we don't know for sure if LSU and Miami are going to end up being top 10 teams. But right now they both look pretty good.
Yeah. All right, what's next, guys? What's next, Shane? What's next, Franz?
Well, what's next is beating LSU, and LSU. I think of the next 2 games, I think LSU is the more beatable team. They struggled to move the ball on Lousy Tech, and Lousy Tech's not a good football team. Their defense has looked good the last 2 games. And is it a case of their defense is that good, or they faced 2 bad offenses? Clemson's off. Cade Klubnik in the game against LSU. Cade Klubnik, talk about a quarterback that had his chance to win games but didn't make the throws. Cade Klubnik, I can think of right now 5 passes he could have thrown that are difference-making passes in that game. But let's see. He bounced 2 of them in front of the guys. He overshot one of them completely, and I don't know where those other 2 went, but they weren't anywhere near completions.
And here's the interesting thing too, right? And Clemson struggled with Troy as well. And how about Long Island, mighty Long Island beating Eastern Michigan? That was interesting as well. But I think, I'm looking at Nussmeier's numbers, and they're not really that eye-popping. And, like I said, for the first time, Florida will be facing a stationary quarterback, and I'll be curious to see. And I'll be curious also to see, obviously, the health of Caleb Banks, which will be big this week. If he can somehow come back, I think that might help, again, in terms of the pressure. And that's how they beat him in the swamp. That was a big factor. And, I think they're going to have to, bring the heat, create some negative plays, create some turnovers. No turnovers in that USF game either. For as well as the defense played, but there were no game-changing plays. You'd like to see that on the road in the atmosphere like LSU to kind of quiet the fans a little bit.
Garrett Nussmeier is averaging 5.9 yards per pass attempt. That's pathetic. But what does that tell you? That tells you that their offensive line isn't blocking anybody, and he's having to throw a lot of dump passes. 5.9 is absolutely pathetic. In the SEC, let me see something. In the SEC, that is yards per attempt. Only Zach Calzada of Kentucky is averaging fewer. 5.9 yards per attempt is terrible. Particularly when you're throwing the ball 40 times a ball game, which is what he's doing. This is a team that's beatable. Now, the question is, of course, are the Gators up to beating them? And of course, buddy, that's the story of these last 10 games. You look at these 10 teams they're playing. There isn't a team on there that Florida isn't capable of beating. There's also isn't a team on there that Florida isn't capable of losing to.
Since October, I think since October, they've proven that they've been able to play up and down to the level of competition, probably since the Tennessee game. They have proven that. So, but it's going to be a matter of, again, it's a precision game. You got to get the substitutions cleaned up, the defensive substitutions too, with another huge issue, obviously the 12 men on the field. and they were subbing out too on that touchdown play, and where they looked confused and they were looking in the sideline. So that's another area too. It's like you got to clean up the football. I mean, the snap over the head, right? The all-world long snapper Rocco Underwood snapping, a ball overhead. You just can't have those kind of mistakes in a game like this.
Tommy Doman could have out jumped Michael Jordan in his prime and couldn't have come close on that one. I mean, you almost, my gosh, if we'd had somebody back 20 yards further back, he could have called for a fair catch on that snap.
I think the big question is, and each of us get 20, 30 seconds on this, has this team regressed? Franz?
I don't know if they've regressed, buddy, but I can tell you they are not playing anywhere close to what they should be playing based on the level of talent that they've got on this ball club. Because there's no question, this is a talented ball club, but they're not playing to their level of talent. They're maybe Kevin's right. Maybe they're playing down to the level of the people they're playing.
I think USF against Miami will be interesting too this week to gauge how good USF is. Maybe they are as that good, and maybe Todd Orlando is this all-world defensive coordinator that Billy's been talking up. But my feeling is, playing up and down to the level of competition. I think that's just kind of where they are at this point. But it's been 4 recruiting cycles, and I thought the offensive line would be a little more dominant, and they would be able to run the ball a little bit more dominant in that game, and they did not. And that to me was another disappointing takeaway from this
All right,
game.
guys, great job. I'll say they have failed their progress at least. Thank you, guys. Great job, Kevin. Great job, Franz. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good week. All right.
Take care.
Franz Beard and Kevin Brockway, reading the Gators' son, Franz Beard and Gator Bait. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up the show tonight with a thank you to our friends from Titan MRI. You know about them. We told you about them a lot. And Titan MRI is one of our great sponsor friends. And I wanted to tell you about the fact that they are easy to deal with because they want to make you, the customer, the most comfortable they can. There are 3 locations to serve you, now forthcoming soon. They have a 2 in Gainesville and Park Avenue, and now the Millennium Center, 1 in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County. They offer the same great customer service, accept insurance, or you can go to their convenient self-pay option program. Titan MRI Imaging offers MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, and ultrasounds, easy scheduling with lots of options. If you can't go during the day, they'll take you at night. Larger MRI machines for your patient comfort, no ERs, no hospitals. Coming soon to Ocala, but better serve Marion County and the surrounding area. Titan MRI, it's your choice. Well, thanks for listening, folks, and thanks for watching. And maybe things will get better. We'll see. As I said tonight, I didn't mean to be too hard on the kid, but I can't deal with someone spitting. That's just, to me, over the top, unacceptable. And the guy wants to have that kind of conduct, in my opinion, he needs to go find someplace else to stay. And I get it. They need players. Maybe Shane's got the right idea. Maybe what you do is you dock him. He didn't get the cash he got on an NIL deal, whatever. But it's not a good look. In addition to losing the game, you lose a ton of credibility, and that's not a good thing. So as he regroups, I'm sure there are things. Again, you heard us say we're not in favor of firing Billy Napier. We certainly wouldn't like to see it happen, but if it has to be, it has to be. And I understand why some people are, and they can certainly make a case for it. But as far as we're concerned, we think it's got to give them the rest of this year at least. And the numbers don't stack up. If you look at it and see financially, this doesn't make any sense. So that wraps up the show for the night. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. On behalf of my guests and sponsors, I'm Buddy Martin. Good night.